Smart 24, driving business.
We'll be back from the break. You're still watching Smart Means Business. It is time for us to get into our business insight. But before we go into our business insight, Zabu platforms. This is a Zabu platform, non-platforms. It's a Zabu platform which is giving you the advantage of growing your investments. Well, with Zabu, all you need to do is use the USSD code *292#. Follow the prompts and kickstart of your investments. If you have no account with the platform, you can register now with your national identification number. Then in the next 24 hours, it is as simple as it gets. You will start investing. Zabu says, my money, my future. With Altex East Africa, you can do something new. You can choose to do something new for yourself. And well, of course, with something new can you choose to do? Invest in government bonds and other securities. Zabu, my money, my future. Altex East Africa, do something new. The markets are only fully closed during the weekends and on public holidays. And now let's get into our business insight. We have Andrew Barigi, who's on ground this morning to at least give us more of understanding the issue to do with Uganda's debt burden. And of course, how can we control this particular ever-rising debt as a country, from the domestic perspective down to the external, and of course, quite a number of factors as we're heading into the next financial year, by the way, because you get to realize that even in the next financial year, we are likely to increase this debt because we have more borrowing coming up. Andrew.
Thank you very much, Jerome. It's exactly just 3 minutes past 9, and well, at this very time, as we're heading straight into our business insight, where we really break down the topics from a depth level, from a bigger perspective. And remember, like I told you, it's the budget month. Of course, last week when the budget was read, and there are quite lots of aspects to really understand. But despite the fact, today we're going to be looking at the aspect of debt management. Yes, of course, we shall be looking at it from the perspective of the public debt management, but also debt management from you as an individual when it comes to running your personal business. I remember Jesus saying for the believers in there, if you can't be faithful in the little, how will you be entrusted with more? You're something which is very insightful. It is very entrepreneurial. Actually, Jesus was very entrepreneurial. So in other words, if you can't manage the debts of your business, how are you going to be able to manage the debts of a nation? Country like Uganda, how are you going to manage that? So many of that. So we shall be picking leaves from the perspective of managing the business debt, and how can the government borrow some ideas in a way to manage the public debt, which is very scary of late. Actually, we are totally in rates. And now with me, I'm joined with Mr. Nicholas Clever. He's the Managing Director of Smart Skills Uganda, and he's going to be giving us further insights in relation to debt management. Nicholas, you're very welcome on the show. A very good morning, and how are you doing?
I'm okay, thank you. Good morning, viewers. It's a pleasure being here.
Yes.
And I'm really honored.
Wow, thank you.
That I'm here.
Okay, now public debt management. Of course, this is something which is very key for any entrepreneur, but also, like I said, we shall be borrowing some ideas and see how we can relate it to from the business perspective, and how government can actually borrow some ideas to effectively manage the bigger debt. Because I know part of about 27 trillion Ugandan shillings of the proposed 52 trillion Ugandan shillings is going to clear to service the debt.
Yes.
But of course, that is going to, it will just clear part of the debt, but the debt will still keep on moving. Well, now the financial year starts next month, and now we would want to know, how does the beginning of the financial year actually of a new financial year impact debt management for individuals and businesses at the same time?
Andrew, maybe we need to talk about what actually is debt management.
What is debt management?
When we talk about debt, what does my mother in the village understand, or the slow business community in town? They may not understand what debt management is, but maybe in the summary, Debt management is a way to get your debt under control through planning and budgeting.
Planning and budgeting, yes.
You've got to plan and you've got to budget. So for you as an individual, you must have your debt in control. You shouldn't let your debt get overboard, and you shouldn't let it overwhelm you.
Exactly.
It can easily overwhelm you and you get into stress and depression and everything. So that is in short what debt management is. And of course, Uganda, they've planned, they've whatever. I will not diverge much into the public debt, but I would want to focus majorly on how debt, how poor budgeting can lead businesses and individuals to actually sink.
Of course, now I want to understand that sometimes majority of the people will tell you that it's never possible to operate without debt. It's definitely you will be in position. Before we came on air, you were telling me something about non-performing loans.
Yes.
For the people out there, it could be countries have these loans, nations have these loans, but also personal businesses have these loans. Let's talk about that.
Yes, debt or loans actually are good. You can, with debt, you can improve your business, you can increase your incomes and everything. It is good. But when you obtain debt and you fail to plan to pay it back, then there are issues.
Okay.
You've heard of businesses closing. You find people, URA, for example, expects you to pay your debt on time and you are unable to even actually to pay your taxes.
Taxes, yes.
URA reigns in on you, and at the end of the day, you even close business. So, ideally, debts are good, but they must be well planned and well managed. Yes.
And maybe an individual would also want to know, under what circumstances is somebody liable to get a debt? I mean, when is it necessary? Not all the time it's necessary to get this debt.
To get a loan.
When is the right time for me to get a loan?
A loan? No, when you're in business and you want to expand and you want to, and maybe you don't have enough operational capital, it is advisable that you get some additional finances to run your business. Definitely, you must have some money, such that the loan you get is not actually the one responsible actually to run the business. No, it should only come to just to push you ahead. So you must have some money just before you actually think of getting a loan. Your business shouldn't be 100% funded by loan. No. Yes.
All right, very interesting. Like I told you, we shall be relating matters here, relating how business management and also how the government can actually, pick some sort of a leaf and see how best it can enhance the loans which are obtained and, use them effectively. And now, Mr. Nicholas, we've seen scenarios where the biggest challenge here, I don't know how entrepreneurs can really counteract it. There are moments when, bank rates, we know the central bank rates, and sometimes they determine the rate at which the commercial banks are going to be giving out loans. Yes. Now, imagine I got a loan when the central bank rate was at 10%, and later on, after 5, probably I'm supposed to clear that loan in 1 year, and the central bank rate probably was at 8, it's now at 10. So how best can these business personnel, people that are running corporations, overcome such a situation whereby you've reached time to pay back, but then the bank rate is high?
Is high.
Yes.
Yes, I remember it happened some time back, and many businesses actually collapsed when the interest rates all of a sudden had to shoot up,
Exactly.
and quite a number of businesses collapsed.
So how do I come out of that as a young entrepreneur?
As a young entrepreneur, you need to think. There are quite a number of ways, but majorly two. You may need to know exactly what happened and negotiate with your financial. Yes, you can negotiate for a settlement, or you consolidate it, so they can restructure your loan to help you replan or restructure yourself, expand your payment period, and you can actually get out of that. But you don't have to let it overwhelm you. You don't have to be overwhelmed. You need to be to sober up to the realities, because this is actually in our market, the Ugandan market, the inflation and what, all these things happen. So you must be ready that anytime these things are happening. So you must have your income sources ready, that at least you will have enough installment to pay your loans. Short of that, even what you have will be taken away.
So in other words, it's very important for you to have a certain base, liquidity.
Yes.
Before we fall as an emergency. Okay, that is something which is very key, and I guess also government can really pick hints on that when it comes to the public debt management. Now, of course, let's take a look at the key challenges faced by individuals and businesses in Uganda when it comes to debt management during the start of the financial year. The challenges faced by these individuals.
Beginning a new financial year in the first place, it prompts individuals and businesses to reassess your financial situation.
To reassess your financial situation.
Yes, and plan for the year ahead. Quite again, the financial year as we are getting it serves as an opportunity for us to review our existing debts. It helps us to set new financial goals, and implement effective debt management. And when, as I said, when you are doing your debt management, it is critical that that you utilize and control your debt. Business owners, for example, if you're a sole proprietor or you're a company, if you're a director, for example, of that business, you must know, one, it is your legal obligation to pay your debts as and when they fall due. You must be ready for that. And as I said, debt is only beneficial when it is managed well, and when it is neglected, it can sink you, and it can also sink your business as well. So, of course, there are quite a number of challenges.
Challenges, yes, which you implement.
The challenges that come with debt management, more so in our dynamic, in our volatile market.
And let's compare it to today. What, depending on what is happening now, with the challenges which people are facing in the current world, of today.
In our dynamic or volatile market, there are quite a number of challenges, and the challenges come with the high interest rates. I always tell friends that the cost of getting a loan is too high.
Very true. The cost of getting a loan.
It is too high. For example, you go to the bank and you want 10 million, but what will actually hit your account will be maybe 7 or 8 million. Because they are getting taxes, your indemnity. I mean, they are talking of getting insurance from it. So some of them actually go in and even get some installment initially. So at the end of the day, you find that actually the money you applied for, you've actually not gotten it. It is too. So at the end of the day, it affects the repayment plans of individuals.
Individuals.
So that is one of the challenges. Then you have the mismatched maturity. This is another common problem, which means that your debt repayment schedule does not match with your cash flow or revenue generation. For example, you have a short-term debt that needs to be repaid soon, but your income is seasonal.
Oh,
yeah, your income is seasonal. Yes.
I think that's something also which young people should really look out to. I say young people because our biggest population is actually comprised of the young people, and most of the businesses that we see, which are registered on every day on a new basis, they are for youths. So that's why we are really measuring that. So you're earning a seasonal income, and you head.
Yes.
And now that is something which is even wider to discuss.
Yes. It is not, I mean, they want, your lender definitely demands you to pay the money soon. But your income's actually seasonal. So at the end of the day, maybe you are a farmer, you've gotten the money, but somehow the rains came. There's a time I was running, I was doing some farming. And all of a sudden the rains came and swept away all my cabbages that I had put. My 4 heads and heads of cabbage. I had to lose all the monies. I had injected, I remember then, 12 million.
So imagine you had borrowed it.
Yes.
Was it borrowed? It was your money?
No, it was my income. Yes, it was so yes. It would have been bloody.
Blood is sure.
Yes. So it is tight. There is a liquidity crisis or cash flow. The cash flow gap, that it really becomes a very serious challenge when it comes to managing debt, because you will not be able to meet your lenders'
expectations. According to
yes. So of course we have another problem. I've had some clients who import goods from out, maybe China, and what they come here, and the challenge, the currency risk, which means that your debt is dominated in different currency than your income or expenses.
So if the exchange rate changes,
yes, you're also finished. Currency risk can rise when you borrow money from foreign lender, and when you operate in a multiple market, it becomes a very serious challenge. Then, of course, I had talked about the interest rate risk. You cannot, it changes in the market. The interest risk affect your debt servicing, the cash flows, the valuation, and interest rates. So it is basically tight. And another challenge that affects this debt management, there are these covenants that, you know, when they give you a loan, there are those things you sign, those small, those pages.
Pages, yes.
So you sign and you end up signing even what you do not know. That you find at the end of the day they do not favor you to pay. So at the end of the day, you find you are squeezed by the covenants you made, and you are not actually explained to them. So of course the illiteracy rates, because the majority of us operate in an informal setting. It also affects, because you are not ready, you don't read the terms and conditions that these banks are setting. So it is a big challenge that faces
people that are trying to service loans and all that. And maybe finally, before we go into the break, what strategies or techniques can individuals and businesses in Uganda employ to improve their debt transition into the new financial year?
Yes, the strategies that
which can be employed by citizens or individuals or businesses when it comes to improve their debt management practices, like the debt management practices.
One, you must take stock.
You must take stock
of all your debts.
Okay.
You must not go into multiple borrowing. So you can strategically plan that if you've been borrowing, you stop, look back, see where you are coming from, be honest with yourself.
Yes.
Then plan. Engage your banker to help. You can consolidate all your loans so that you have one installment at least you are paying. Please, if you're running that business, please make sure you do not take that risk. You can't. Risk is part of running a business. True.
Yeah.
You can't is a plan for recession, pandemics like now we are for with the COVID pandemics.
Yes.
If you find yourself unexpectedly further in debt, there are options available.
Okay.
There are options available. So take action. Do not let it overwhelm you, but you don't have to wait until it has affected. Many of us panic when we are already, you've missed an installment and you start panicking.
You know that, it's not easy.
You start panicking, you start...
your collateral.
Yes, and at the end of the day, you move. So if you are facing debt, take action instead of hoping for the best. If you fail to make payment on your debt, the consequences are often disastrous. So of course, as a business, you can end up losing your employees. Your lenders can come and take your property. Yes, the government will come after you. Government will want their cases. You will be on your case. They want their trading license, fees. URA is on your case. The banks are also descending on you. At the end of the day, the consequences are there. So let's not take debt lightly, and let's learn how to manage it. In time.
All right, it's 24 minutes past 9. Of course, the discussion is about debt management, but later on, as we're winding this up, we shall be relating it to the public debt in some sort of a way. It will really add up in some sort of a way. But I think you've really gotten some sorts of ideas when it comes to debt management, especially from the individual perspective, business perspective, and so many other perspectives. I'm with Nicholas Clever. He's my guest this morning, and definitely he's the managing director actually of Smart Skills. Yes, and he's taking us through this aspect of the debt management. Now, right about now, we are going to get into a short break, and when I return, we shall be winding it up still with Nicholas Clever as we get further insights. And I believe by the time we're out of here, it will be quite very impactful. But before that, don't forget the markets on the Zabo platform, which already opened. Now, star 292 hash is simply the USSD code for you there, where you'll be available in a number of options, and you'll be able to buy government bonds and securities for just 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Now, the markets open at 8:15 a.m., closing at 3:15 p.m. East African time, and this is effective Monday up to Friday, except on the weekends and the public holidays when you can access these markets. But despite, you have the rest of the days to capitalize and make yourself quite some huge lots of money. So Zabo made this a reality. Buy government bonds. Now Zabo simply says, my money, my future, and All Tech East Africa tells us, do something new in the year 2023. More of this after the break. Good morning.